Greetings, empaths and evolvers. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath, and if you're interested in working with me, you can find me on evolvingwithmonette.com. Now, let's jump into the video. Narcissists ruin all holidays and vacations. Yeah. Narcissists ruin all holidays and vacations. If you're here listening, you can relate. This is something that excuse me, I didn't really get a deep lesson in until I realized my angels had me go through and write in a very cathartic way about my experience. They had me document my experience with a narcissist, which is something I'll be submitting for you guys to see. It will be something that I think you'll get some food out of. But here's the deal. A lot of throat chakra stuff happening that wasn't happening. I just made another video. Very interesting. Say what you need to say. Okay, angels. Let me take a sip of water and let's proceed. I'm not letting any energies stop me today. This is an important message that's needed because some of you guys need to be validated in your headspace about what has been going on maybe in your situation, okay? All right, my loves, pardon me and thank you for your patience. So, we're going to get through it. I'm not stopping the video. I have started and stopped this video 4 or 5 times. It's so interesting how energy is conveyed. Narcissists ruin all the vacations. Okay, let's just jump right into it. They ruin all of the vacations. They ruin all of the holidays. Here's why. Let's talk about this. They don't want to see you happy. And you think, is it that simplified? Is that what it boils down to? Essentially, yeah, because they have no happiness in them. So what they derive is a great sense of power and control. Because I wrote and documented a lot of the things that happened to me as they were happening, I didn't lose the cognition and the memory recall in order to know exactly how I felt in the moment when these things were happening. And I'm going to pop into 3 or 4 different little scenarios that happened in my case. I want you to see if it relates to you. One narcissist that I dealt with told me on my birthday that they were cheating on me and that they were betraying me and that they had been essentially playing mind games with me. They did it on my birthday, and she did it in a very clever way. She said to me that she was the bad guy. I will never forget it. It was my birthday, and I was at a friend's house. Actually, my goddaughter, who is 6, said, can we have Auntie Monette over and make her gluten-free cupcakes? And so I went over and we were having a beautiful day. And it's so funny how my angels and ancestors work because as she was texting me, I'm powering through, guys. I'm so sorry. Pardon me for all the throat stuff. As she was texting me and communicating with me that she was the bad guy on my birthday, there was a music channel. You know how you guys have the music channels up? And my goddaughter was just bebopping around the house, and we were doing craft time. And Billie Eilish actually came on the screen. And I will never forget it because I sent her a picture of it. I took a picture of the screen and I sent it to her after she told me that she was the bad guy. It was like my angels confirming, yeah, she is the bad guy. Yeah, she is a terrible person. And yeah, she told you this on your birthday. That's narcissist like 101. How can I F up for you something that might be fun? Now, you may think, oh, that was coincidental. Maybe she was just delighted on that day. Maybe she was really high and happy. Maybe she'd had some good sex. Whatever the case was, she wanted to share it with me and she couldn't wait. And she thought, what better day than your birthday? Absolute, complete, and total balderdash. That's one example that I have. Maybe you guys have a few too. There are all kinds of really weird, insidious things that she would do, but I found that whenever we vacationed or holidayed or it was a special thing, she would find a way to sabotage it. Whether it was silent treatment on a cruise or whether it was leaving any event that I had put a lot of time and energy into getting us to that was really for her early, she would do it. Leaving plays, questioning, date nights, everything that I tried to get right, or questioning a dinner. I remember this specifically, and this is something that I recalled recently. uh, taking her to this great, amazing Latin fusion place. And because she was a racist, unfortunately, I discovered it later, guys. I don't know what my ministry is with that, but she was so appalled, and I couldn't figure it out. I was like, girl, this is amazing. There's live trumpets, there are people singing and dancing. The food's incredible. This is like one of the best. I don't take anybody to any restaurant that isn't probably one of the best in the area. That's kind of my thing. I'm a food snob in that way, being a trained chef, right? So I don't like, we're not going to like the mom and pop. Now, if the mom and pop is excellent, I'm not afraid to go there. But I was taking her to like the best of the best. But that was not good enough. And she leaned over, and I'll never forget it. Have you guys had this experience with your narcissist? And she growled at me, "Why did you bring me here?" There was a few times in our life that I heard that demonic sound come out of her where she didn't sound like herself. Most of the time she sounded like a phone sex operator, but when the demons were working, that's what I heard. This low growl that was so weird, and I thought, and it ruined the rest of the night. That's exactly what she wanted to do. Narcissists feel like now it's just right. Now that you are uncomfortable, now that you, all the time and effort and energy you put in is diminished, and now I'm sitting here like a petulant child. I don't know what I ever saw. Guys, can you relate in this person in any capacity, friend or otherwise? Because she's so wholly incapable of any kind of real connection. And maybe that's what you know about your narcissist too. But what they love to do is ruin things for you. When I've counseled other people, I've heard the story over and over. I thought it was just me. I thought I was just triggered. I thought I had PSD, which I do. But I've heard it over and over and over that narcissists ruin everybody's birthdays and the vacations and the special moments, or a kid's birthday, or a Mother's Day dinner, or brunch, or a Father's Day lunch. They have this uncanny ability to wait for the moment when they see that joy could come your way and then strip you of it. We were on a cruise. Probably should have been a happy time, but she found a way to isolate and be filled with hate and do the silent treatment, even in that. When I would talk to other people and I seemed to have joy, I will never forget us laying on the beach in Mexico, and there were some DEA officers that were next to us from Miami, and I grew up in the Keys, and so they were talking, and we were kind of going back and forth about all the news and Coconut Grove and all that stuff, and she looked over, same demonic voice. You sure are enjoying talking to them, aren't you? Narcissists hate when you use your voice and when you're happy or when other people are engaged. You know what's so funny? I did not realize how controlling she was. Some people get off on that, you know, guys. They get off on their partners being controlling. The thing about it is her kind of controlling wasn't sexy. It wasn't interesting. It didn't feel good. You know, sometimes we have toxic ways that we relate, right, in relationships, and we think like, oh, if my man's jealous, or if my woman's jealous, that's real sexy. Sometimes you run into people where that shit's not sexy at all. I never felt like she loved me. I felt completely isolated. I felt alienated. I felt like it was cruel. This is another thing she would do, and I'm just sharing this with you because narcissists love to pull you into triangulation and rub it in your face. She would send pictures when she was driving out to third-party houses, right? She would send pictures to me. She would tell me it's one place she was going, but I knew who and exactly where she was going to see, the pond and the holler. For those of you that have been following my story, I knew exactly what it was, and I was like, the cruelty of that. And she'd be like, isn't it a beautiful day? Narcissists love to make you feel like crap. And so don't second guess yourself and think, I must be making this up, or this must be all in my head. No, it's very, very calculated. If they are not in a position of power, or if you have refused them or turned them down, that was a lot of what predicated her abusive behavior with me, was her feeling my rejection, which wasn't rejection, it was protection from God. It had nothing to do with either of us. I didn't even understand what was going on, but now I totally do, and I'm grateful. But that was what precipitated that terrible behavior. But she never, I have so many stories, y'all. I hope you read them one day, that happen with her, where she would just be her lowest vibrational self, and it was a punishment because she didn't want to communicate, but she did communicate. Because see, even non-communication is communication. Some of you guys have suffered through that, and you think, oh my gosh, I was just making this up or whatever. It came to me to make this video because I was talking to my bestie the other day, and we were talking about going to see a play and how happy we were that vaccinations had happened, and that we're nearing, you know, coming to a place where the pandemic seems to be easing up, right? And I said to her something, I said, will you stay through the whole thing? Are we going to sit through the whole thing? And she was like perplexed. God bless her, sweet soul. She was like, yeah, of course. I'm gonna say, what? So poor her. She was probably like, what, girl? And it occurred to me in that moment how triggered I was. I was asking a grown up who is filled with love, filled with communication, who has done nothing but extend the ultimate kindnesses to me, if we were going to be able to sit through a play on our vacation, or a play anywhere, anything, a movie all the way through. Because I have had in many instances with narcissists that was not the thing that got done or that we could do. And I'm not just talking about the one that you guys have heard me about. I'm talking years back. I remember a narc throwing a whole bucket of popcorn down at the beginning of the movie because she wanted to control the dynamic, and storming out and leaving me in there. I have PTSD. It's not just from one or two. Unfortunately, I've had more than three. However, that was what they do. And it's consistent behavior for all of them. That one was really famous for like spiking food. She did that often. That was like her move. She would like spike food and cause a scene all the time, like outside of like Ruby Tuesdays or anywhere. She would have a whole fit. That was not the narc that I was talking about a moment ago, that sent me the pictures and told me she was cheating on my birthday. That was not her. That was a different one. But what I will say here, guys, is it's the same thing. They all like to have fun in the same way. And the fun is to see you not enjoy your day. You get it, guys? So don't run yourself in circles being like, "Hi, this must be in my imagination." And no, 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 no. No. When someone says to you or shows you who they are, believe them the first time. She loved it. She loved every second of having power and control. And that's not my belief. She told me so when she was triangulating or trying to pull in a new supply. Because we were friends, I was able to hear her tell me truths finally without lies. And she told me exactly what glee and delight she extracted from making someone cry. That's your narcissist. Fortunately or unfortunately, I have behind the scenes on their atrocious behavior, but that's who they are. So I remember listening to her tell me that story and thinking, wow, so that's what you did to me then, because you knew. Even though it didn't end in tears for me, I definitely felt hampered by that behavior. A lot of us come from narcissistic parent dynamics. For me, it was my father. I've healed the wound, thank God. But until I healed it, I had to go through it. And that's what I need you to understand. Maybe look back at some of your family pathology and family past history. Who was the parent that was injurious to you? Who was the person that put you through, that taught you that making yourself small and shrinking is what you should do when a narcissist wants to take control with silent treatments or toxic, bad behavior at date nights, birthdays, parties, or anything that makes you feel right? That is something that's a learned behavior from you to make them feel better, so that you can kind of get through that moment, because it's better when you're on the other side. The withholding of affection, emotion, and communication that they do is just one part of the mental abuse. They do that so that you can come back to them, and when you do get back into their energy field or their arms or whatever your situation or case is, you feel relief. That's textbook abuse, because the person who's causing you to feel all of that pain is now the only person who can relieve it. I remember the last time that I was with the narcissist and she had done a devaluing silent treatment. It had catapulted me back to my child self, okay? And what it did was I remember feeling terrible that day and holding her accountable, as I always did, and saying, "Yo, you didn't even check up on me. Like, I'm at your house. Like, what a piece of trash." Like, I just was very frustrated and upset, because forget about all the mind games. I was there for a health reason and other things. So I was like, this is beyond. This is beyond the pale to me. This is not acceptable. And also, I had been healing and doing a lot of work in therapy. So I was so clearly seeing all of her behavior. But I remember after that silent treatment feeling very much how I had felt before, but this one was different. All I wanted was a hug, not from her. She was the only human in the house that could have hugged me. There were no hugs exchanged, thank you, Jesus. But that's what I wanted to alleviate my pain. You see the abuse cycle there. She had deprived and been terrible to me and mean and cruel, and she was gossiping about me with the person she was devaluing me with. She was making me into the villain, doing all the things, a smear campaign that the narcissist will do, and I knew it. Because of the way that my psychic gift works, I could hear it. So I could hear her not sticking up for me and not defending me and letting the other person antagonize me while she's giving me the silent treatment. It was like a triple whammy of abuse. And I was so sad. I laid out on the bed and I just sobbed, which I had never done. In all of her devaluations, I've never cried. I'd sat there silently. I'd wondered why. I'd done a lot of those things that you do when a narcissist ruins a vacation or a special thing for you. That was a vacation for me of sorts, a vacation from hell. But I laid out there and I just sobbed, y'all. I sobbed, guys. I couldn't even, because all I wanted was a hug. All I wanted was some love. And that's when, right in that moment, my angels let me be opened up to heal my inner child. I realized why this ride with the narcissist had been so wild. It's because I hadn't dealt with and healed my inner child. As children, we love our holidays and birthdays, don't we? We look forward to them. We can't wait to get a year older or go to the beach or have some fun or celebrate even our, like, let's say you remember making like pancakes for your mom. Holidays are special. The kid in us loves a holiday, a vacation, a birthday. Narcissists love to crush the kid in you. And they know exactly what to do that. When I had that moment when I was laying there in tears and only wanting the comfort of a loving arms. I didn't even know whose. It wasn't hers, y'all. I didn't want anything from her. But that's normally what a lot of us do. We try to get solace from the person that we have been abused by. That never works because all it does is create a bonding and a further Stockholm syndrome. So be very careful. That's exactly what they want you to feel. And I knew it because I'm assessing it from like this psychological perspective because I was writing about it. And in that moment, my angel said, sit up and write right now how you feel. And when I read it back months later, because I couldn't even look at it because it was so painful initially, I was like, wow, what an utter piece of shit. That's what the narcissist taught me. They do this purposely because I read my own words and my pain as I sat on that bed in her house in that moment. I will never forget the emotions and the feelings going through my head because what she had done was been actually purposely abusive and she had done it for fun. It was for shits and giggles, guys. That's what I need you to hear. It was so that she could go back and fill up the Prakalicias and the gossipers and the bitter Bettys that were her besties' ears with how she had devalued me. And you know how I know that's what she did? Because she did it with me. You get it? Because she used to tell me about how she would make other people cry and how she delighted in watching someone's inner child die. She's a monster. Your narcissists are that too. I hugged myself in that moment. God and angels came down. They hugged me too. I have friends that were like, babe, we'll get you out of there. It was like life flight. They were like, whatever you need, I'll drop you out. But I knew that I had to go through that week and get out. The irony of this is so funny. I remember we never could have enough time. You know, when you go on vacations with someone, you're like, we always need an extra day. By the time it was over, I couldn't wait to get away. My friend was like, I'm going to get you on this day. And I wanted more days. By the time she came, she couldn't have come fast enough. She couldn't have come fast enough because I was so fed up. It's funny how things happen when you heal. But I do not want you to second guess how the narcissist made you feel. You did not imagine it. You are not insane. They went out of their way to ruin your day. They loved it. They delighted in it. I am so grateful. I never thought I would say this, but for the experience that I had, because we were friends and because I kept it platonic, even though she loved to bring in subterfuge of sexual energy and flirtation. Narcissists love mind games. Favorite, most delicious thing. I don't know if they love the silent treatment or the mind games more. It's a combo. They can't make up their mind. But what I will tell you is that she loved that kind of energy, and your narcissist unfortunately does too. I lost my train of thought there, but she loved that kind of energy. They love to kind of ruin your day. It's just their favorite thing because they feel powerless and unhappy and whatever. I don't give a damn about what they feel because I really think they're sociopaths, most of them. I really don't think that they have feelings. If you can delight in seeing someone else cry, then what kind of human are you? We know empaths that doesn't vibrate with us whatsoever, but I don't want you to be like, oh, did I imagine this? Is this? No, you didn't imagine it. I talk to people every day, and every day I hear the same thing. I've talked to my friends that have been in narcissistic relationships. It's the same thing. No narc misses a time to ruin up something for you that you put a lot of time and energy in because it's just what they want to do. It's them exerting their power over you. It's them showing you that I'm in control here because they're in control of nothing. Anyway, y'all, that's the message. Whew, that one, I had to struggle to get that one out, only because I don't like to go back there. It's funny that this has become the work of my life And I imagine that I'll have to get more creative with ways of teaching it, because I don't always want to be in strife. Now, telling the story didn't put me into any strife, but when I reread back my emotions on that day after narcissistic abuse, evaluation, silent treatment, and gossip and smear campaigns all were happening while I was under her roof, I was like, wow, Monette, you got through. How did you get through? Some of you guys may be wondering what the next thing to do is. If you're in a relationship with someone who is toxic that way, that is a narcissist, it's to get away. Get out and stay out is what the motto is. Go so. Get out, stay out. Go so. Don't look back, because when you go back, they just want to attack. They want to put you in a worse place. I'll never take my foot off her neck energetically, that narcissist. And I do it for all the narcissists. For all the narcissists that I've loved before, I will teach about this. But there sometimes is one who is a catalyst. And unfortunately for me, or fortunately, it was this person. She was a catalyst. She was always a muse in a way, yeah. She's just turned into a muse in a different way. And now I teach about her abuse. And now I teach about what I went through and how you can get out. So enjoy your holidays and birthdays narcissist free. Trust me, my loves, it's such a better way to be. They're so much more fun. You actually get through the day. No one's trying to ruin it on purpose just so that they can have their way. Take my advice and get free and find a happier, more sane way to be. You'll never find that in a relationship with a narcissist, ever. Ultimate control is always their endeavor. I love you guys so much. Come back and join me next time, and we will continue to evolve together.